Hello, everyone. I hope your weekend was great and that your Monday's off to a good start. Meteorologist Jaret Lansford here, and we're going to talk about how things are going to be a little bit different this week. We had a wonderful weekend with the warm temperatures, did step things down gradually each day, and it's a little more of a sign of where our temperatures are going to be landing here as we head through the course of the week. So let me give you a first alert to how things play out. We do have some rain chances that are on the way as we go through the rest of our day today. I'll talk to you about how that's going to play out. We also have some long-term trends that are starting to show themselves as we get ourselves closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. And though the details are going to be revealing themselves as we get a little bit closer to that, there's enough there that I can give you a first alert to how things are looking like they shape up as we get near the holiday. You'll want to stick around to hear those details. So let's go ahead, start taking a look at how things are looking right now and where we're heading as we head through the rest of this week and beyond. And let's first look at the lack of the sunshine. We did have some of that as we started off the day, but unfortunately the clouds have really built in and we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of sunshine for the rest of our day today. So hope you caught some of that while it was around. Temperatures at 49 degrees. It is quite breezy, though. Southeast wind's pretty consistent, about 17 miles per hour. And we're going to be looking at that breeze staying a factor for the rest of the day. One thing I do want to point out to you as we're on this screen, notice that the temperature, 49, our dew point, 22. That is quite a separation. That's why you're looking at a humidity that's only 35%. It's going to be a little difficult to get some of that moisture down to ground level with the current conditions. We will bring a little more moisture in as we get later today. But that's why I'm thinking here as the day goes on, we are going to be looking at mainly sprinkles to light showers, if anything, as we get into the afternoon as we try to build more of that moisture into the area. Pretty spotty, but plenty of clouds that'll be around. And we'll peak at about 55. For our high today. So not much warming for the rest of the day. And yes, you are seeing that correctly. If you're looking ahead to the evening, look at that. Yeah, that's a thunder shower that's trying to appear there as we get beyond sunset. So we'll take a closer look at that here in just a moment. Here's where we're at right now. And you notice the clouds have started to build their way in. We're going to continue to see those swell over the next few hours, and it's already pretty cloudy out there. We're going to stay quite gray for the rest of our Monday. We zoom in a little bit tighter. You're going to see just the faintest of indications that we try to pull a little bit of some sprinkles down to ground level. There's not much there, but there's a little bit that's trying to get squeezed out of those clouds. So we'll watch that. You can see, especially north and west of the metro, a little more of that showing up near the Norfolk, West Point areas. So as the rest of our day goes on, here's how it plays out. A little bit overdone here on this model run, but some specks that'll be showing up on the radar and maybe briefly some drizzle to light shower activity. Again, not a big deal, but you may feel a few drops as we go through the afternoon. We'll have a couple of these very light showers possible through the PM hours. We go toward the evening, and you kind of see some of these that get a little bit more of an individual cell-like appearance. That's where we could try to get a couple of rumbles of thunder involved. And even at their very strongest, a couple of these may try to put down a little bit of some hail. With the temperatures being where they're at, a lot of times if this was a scenario where we were a few months back, where we'd have temperatures maybe 50, 60, 70s, that would melt on the way to the ground. But the fact that we're past sunset, will likely be in the 40s, maybe just a little bit of some small hail with some of these that gets to ground level. So don't be completely caught off guard. It's not going to be anything that's a big deal, but it may be a little jarring if you do hear some of that. And there you can see some of those thunder showers continue to get going and move through as we go through the evening hours. So a couple rumbles of thunder, going to be something you may hear as we head through the evening. And then there's that small chance we maybe get just a little bit of some small hail with some of those too. We get further in the night, you can see maybe a little bit of a gap that shows up. And then as we get closer to dawn, we start to develop some more showers and swing some of those through. That would be just in time in the metro for the morning. So that may dampen the roads just a little bit. Very brief wave of some showers. Those should be ending by the time we get to about 7, 8 o'clock. and then we'll likely be dry for the rest of our Tuesday. So not much in the way of rain totals out of that, and just kind of unfortunate timing on when that moves through. As far as the winds go, it will be breezy through the rest of the day today. You can see some of those gusts up around 30 miles per hour to the southeast into the afternoon and evening, and then we start to calm those down overnight. We'll turn those winds to the north for our day tomorrow. Now, when you combine those factors, few showers early on, that north breeze, it's not going to be a real warm day tomorrow. And I really think we're going to struggle to clear out the clouds, too. That lines up for a day where this may be even on the warm side. Probably into the upper 40s is where we're more likely to peak for our temps for our Tuesday. So a little chilly out there as we head through Tuesday. Good news is if you're not a fan of that, we do recover pretty nicely Wednesday and Thursday. Those are likely the best days of the work week. Right up near 60 degrees. That is above average for our temps. Average high this time of year is now 50. And we will dip a little bit again by the time we get to Friday. That's where we have our next chance for some wet weather. Here's how that plays out. So you can see the system off to our south on Thursday, and it is giving the chance for some showers into Kansas. Likely holds off until we get into the overnight at the earliest, and probably closer to Friday morning before we really start to see some of those showers make their way in. They'll get to around I-80 the way it looks, and then kind of stall out and start to move out from there. So if you are near or south of I-80, you'll have the chance for some showers on Friday. There you can see those going away, and we dry out there as we head into our Friday night. So next chance for showers, not all that heavy, but looking like a Friday is when we bring some of those into the area. And when we take a look at the weekend forecast, you can see how the temperatures recover pretty nicely. For Saturday and Sunday, we're talking back into the 50s, clearing things out. So Friday is easily the weakest of the days this weekend with some of those showers, the 40s for temps. And then we're decreasing the cloud cover as our Saturday goes on. We'll have a partly cloudy sky for Sunday, and we're into the mid-upper 50s. It'll feel pretty nice for both of those days. And that shapes up well for anyone who's maybe trying to get a head start on Thanksgiving travel. Anyone who's getting outdoors, getting maybe Christmas lights up. Looks pretty good there. However, we start talking long-term. We've got some changes that we need to keep in mind, speaking of that Thanksgiving holiday. Some signs that are just a little bit unsettling on where things are heading. Let me show you what I mean by that. So you can see how we have this big ridge that's in place as we're making our way up through this weekend. And this is where we get our temps into the 50s. You can see those greens that are in place. Keep an eye on what happens here in Western Canada as we head forward here. Notice that big area where we start getting some white colors, pink colors. That's where we're looking at some more winter-like air that starts to build into Western Canada as we get to the beginning of next week. And that's looking likely to try to surge in as we make our way toward the Thanksgiving holiday. It'll be either near Thanksgiving or just after there. And you'll see, there it goes. It starts to build its way down toward us. So the signs looking like we get a cold blast that takes place right around Thanksgiving. A lot of times with those, you're talking about a system that comes through that kind of opens the gates for that cold air to get in. So we'll have to watch right around Thanksgiving. That could have impacts for travel if we end up with a system that brings some of that colder air alongside it. It's unclear how long we would keep that cold air around, how strong it would be. Would it really knock us off our feet on temperatures, or would it just be kind of an uncomfortable cold that we would have for Thanksgiving and just after? So all these things are things that we'll be working through as we get closer, but there's enough of a signal here that it does look like we're trending colder for the end of November, and you'll want to plan accordingly for that moving into not just our area, but a good portion of the country as we get toward Thanksgiving there on the 27th and just past that. Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the 10-day forecast. And we do have those showers around today. It'll be breezy. Keep that in mind. Peak in the mid-50s. Tomorrow will be a struggle to get back to 50. Really, we probably fall short of 50 with the temperature as we keep those clouds around most of the day. Best days looking like Wednesday with a partly cloudy sky. Thursday we'll start pulling more cloud cover in as the day goes on, but both days should end up near 60 for a high. And then as we get to Friday, we'll be a little bit chillier again as we have those showers, especially south of I-80. The rest of the weekend looks pretty good, but you'll even see on the 10-day that we start to get those signs of some cooling taking place middle of next week. We go from 50s for highs to the mid-40s. Coming up this evening, for the evening shows, you'll notice Thanksgiving show up on the 10-day, and it will likely have some of those chilly temperatures hanging around. So you'll just need to pay attention there as we go through the week. We'll keep you posted on what all you need to know with that forecast. A couple of other things I want to highlight here. Let me make sure I have the graphics here. Here we go. We've got a Husker game this week. They were off last week. They're in State College, Pennsylvania this week, taking on the Nittany Lions. And folks, if you're heading to that one, pack the winter gear. It's going to be dry. We look like we'll have a clear sky throughout that game, but notice that's a 6 p.m. kickoff for that one. And so we'll be cooling as it goes on, and we're starting off in the mid-30s in Pennsylvania. So that will be chilly. You are going to want to make sure you have what you need to stay warm if you're going out to Pennsylvania to watch the Huskers play on Saturday. Overall for the games, it does look a little bit better if you're staying locally here. Iowa State with a fun game against the Jayhawks in Ames. That starts at 11 a.m. It'll be a little bit breezy for that one, but looks like it's sunny and starting at 50 degrees. It'll warm a little bit as that one goes on. And then Iowa trying to get back on their horse after that loss in L.A. They'll be back home facing the Spartans, Michigan State. That a 2:30 game and some pretty nice November weather. Not quite a strong breeze with that one, mostly sunny and in the 50s. So you'll take that when you get to this time of year for football games. So worst weather looks like it's going to be in Pennsylvania as the Huskers try to get the win there against Penn State under some pretty chilly conditions. I think that'll do it for what we have as far as going forward with the forecast. Again, some light showers this afternoon. It'll be breezy, and then those longer-term trends pointing a little bit chillier as we head toward Thanksgiving. We'll continue to keep you posted on that. Have the First Alert 6 weather app handy. It's always a great tool when it comes to these situations. And, in fact, let me show you. We have a graphic that kind of has the view of what that app will look like. It's a free download, your favorite app store. You'll get push alerts from us when we update significant changes to the forecast, and you can always just go on there, check out the hourly and the daily details on there as well. So let's see, I've almost got that graphic pulled up. Here it is. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you haven't seen the First Alert 6 weather app. You have your hourly details. You can see how the rain starts to push in as we get into the afternoon. Across the top here, right under that banner that has the city name, you'll often have videos that you can watch, and those are made by us with a focus on today. We'll often have a 3-day one on there, and then something longer term that is pretty notable that you could check out on there. And those will be attached to the time frame that they correspond with. Hourly, though, you could see the sky cover. You could see the temperatures through the rest of the day and on through the next 24 hours or so. So it's a great tool. Has all the information that you need. There's also traffic information on there. A lot of people don't know that, but you can go to the traffic tab and you can check out where there's slowdowns around the area with that as well. There's the radar tab, there's the 10-day. So a lot of different information that's really helpful. That's why we are always trying to push you toward the First Alert 6 weather app, because you could take our forecast on the go with you as you're heading to anything you have going on. All right, we'll wrap this up, and here coming up at the top of the hour on First Alert 6, check us out. We'll have updates from Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord with everything you need to know going forward with the forecast, as well as the latest news. So I hope you'll join us for that. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully you stay dry through the afternoon.